Okay, so in this part I'm going to talk about opacity and what does it mean. There's two ways you can use opacity for your textures, even if it's furniture or clothing. So what I have here is a 256 by 256 pixels square, and I put different levels of gray. So you see the different effects of opacity. This is the normal opacity. Now, for cloud opacity, this is a texture that we did on the tutorial last. And what's happening here is, if you want, for example, to add cuts, let's say in this mesh, in this texture, let's say this shoe had multiple layers, and you want to cut some parts of a layer, so you can see the underneath layer. Or if you just wanted to show the feet, in this case, there's no feet in this boot. But the way you do this is, I just came here and I just put white. What I want to be in white is what's going to be shown, and I put a black foreground background, I mean, in the back. So black and white. So opacity only reads black and white. And pretty much what it says is, what is white, it's going to be shown. What is black, it's not going to be shown. Okay. And you can even, I just brush stroke some pattern here just so you see what you can do with the opacity. And I had those random draws. I just used my mouse. So after this, I saved this as a GPA, like always. And that's it. The same way for this one. I just saved. This one I use the UV, of course, in place. This one is just a 2x6, 2x6. Okay, so when we go on the Imvu now, there's a few things to notice here. It's this, on the texture as it's this square over here called opacity. So let's see what's going to happen when we use the first opacity, which is this one. Okay. And I'm going to apply the changes. So as you can see right now, the darkest parts is like, it thinks it's black, some of them, and it just cuts them off, as you can see. Okay. But if we use blending mode over here, and right now we're going to use adaptive just for addictive, and as you can see now, we get a transparent boot that's very bright, and everything is one level of transparency. But if we change this to composite, and then we apply the changes, as you can see here, we have different levels of transparency, which is the different levels of gray. So the less gray, the more close to the white, we get almost perfect or less transparent. If we put two-sided or one-sided, makes a difference as well. So the texture, you can see, if you put two-sided, you can see the insides of this wall up here, as you can see. So be careful when you're playing with blendings. You don't want to have two-sided, maybe, or maybe you do, depending on what type of effect are you looking for. And of course, if the texture has more than one material, with this case, it has three materials, you have to, apply the same to all of them. Okay. I'm just going to use here as a reference, just so I show you. And I'm going to drop on all. I'm going to use blending and composite on all, and I'm going to apply changes. So as you can see there, it's cutting here because of the black, because this is, two-sided. We take this two-sided here, and we get our always the black. As you can see, the black disappears because the black is black. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to take this one out now, go back to just that one. And now the other type of opacity is the one that you draw the shapes that you want. Okay, and this is this one that I did. And on this one, we're not going to use any blending. We're going to use apply, just like that. Okay? You can even use two-sided. It's fine. So you can see the inside's actually even better. So what happens here is, you can see the pattern here. This was the pattern that we used. As you can see over here. So it cuts in the shapes that we want. This is the heart that I did right over there. There's nothing inside of here, but if there was something inside of here, as you can guess, you would have the effect on top of it. Like, I don't know. But this is, if it was clothes, for example, you can just make cuts like this and see the skin. And like, for example, the leggings, they have opacity, so you can see a little bit of the skin underneath. That's how they do it with the grays. And this is how you cut in the shape that you want your mesh. And that's it. That's all about opacity that you need to know for now. And bye-bye.